we have a solution. The Whine No Whine Show, where you can be friended and offended all in the same hour, where we gather people from all different walks of life and perspectives, and we talk about everything that everyone has told you not to. Religion, politics, and everything under the sun. Nothing is off limits, and we do it all over a glass of wine. So grab a glass and join us as we save America, one civil conversation at a time.
3, 2, 1, action!
Pardon me? Hey everybody, welcome to the first episode, 46th technically,
Yes.
but now we are the Art of Dispute. I'm so excited.
Yes.
There's no more wine in my hand. I'm so excited. I can't tell you how. Oh my God, you're gonna hear me go in a second. I have a great guest panel here today, and we're gonna be talking about are we becoming more sensitive? Sorry, I gotta look at it. I've already been drinking. Are we becoming more sensitive as a nation, or has bullying and personal attacks gotten worse? So I want to hear your comments. Be sure you drop them underneath because we're going to read them later. We have a great group of artists and a co-host at the other end who's going to try to keep his mouth. I'm just kidding. Yeah,
I'm just gonna blow
I'm
spitballs at
gonna
Chris
let
while
them
he's talking.
introduce themselves, and then we're gonna go ahead and talk about how we feel about this topic. First, I'll let you go ahead.
Oh,
Introduce
jeez.
yourself.
There we go. Right off the bat.
Yeah.
You want to go ahead?
Yeah, go ahead. No, introduce yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm Dina Cannon, and I do freelance marketing. And so what I feel about this topic is, as a country, I feel that we are more sensitive about the bullying. It's been there. It's always been there. But how we take a stance on it is, I don't think our country takes the topics very serious. I think if it fits into their 9 to 5, oh, I'm going to go protest from 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock, and then I'm done with it and move on.
It's nap time.
It's nap time. it's dark wine time.
What is it? Not wine
Priorities
time.
gotta be
Always
straight.
wine time.
Yes.
Sharon, go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm
9:30.
Sheridan Bradshaw. I am a visual artist in the Houston area, and I do a pretty big range of mediums. I work with acrylic oil, resin, and I also do pet portraits in graphite.
Ooh.
So, do you want to go ahead and get my stance now, or you want me to let
Oh,
Stassi
no, I'm gonna let you do that. But where do we find you?
Oh, find me on Facebook. I have a page called My Anatomical Heart. I also have a website, myaanatomicalheart.com, and on Instagram is at my_anatomical_heart, and that's where I would say I'm probably the most active, is my Instagram.
And as important as all of that stuff is, probably the most important thing that she, so humbly didn't even, mention, is that she's the newest moderator on the Whine No Whine Show
Watch
group
out.
page.
Watch
Yes.
out. We must be
The law.
I am the law.
I got fired.
Yeah, we fired Chris.
Yeah, I got fired.
Was he not launched enough?
We had a lot of, sexual harassment complaints.
Oh, no.
Oh my God.
This is what I was talking about, right?
I don't want to have to moderate right now.
That's why you're in the middle.
I will stay in the middle and I will moderate.
So this
The
was
team.
all
I'm
this was
playing.
all a test.
I'm playing.
Yes, I am the new moderator
There you
on the
go.
Whine No Whine Show group. I'm
Yes.
excited.
Yes, we
Okay,
are quite
I'm
proud to have her.
Stassi. I am a contemporary surrealist here in Houston. I've been painting for a long time. You can find me on my website at art-by-Stassi.com. You can find me on Facebook at Art by Stassi Houston, and you can find me on Instagram at Redheaded Unicorn Studios. And I create paintings, portraits, murals, and I also teach a pigment history class on Thursdays here in the studio. Now that you guys
So I
are
cannot
housed
wait
here.
to attend. Yes,
I
was
did
gonna
not
bring
know
that up.
pygmies had a long history.
No, pigment. Paint pigment, not pygmies.
Oh, man.
So if you want to know anything about paint, I'm your girl. If you need a shoulder to cry on, avoid him. No.
She's right though.
Check out the website. It'll have all that information on there, and you can also find it on my Facebook page as well.
On to me.
Joe, tell me about you.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Wow.
think you know now.
Oh, like he doesn't like.
So not even used to. This is literally the first time.
Is it the first
Yeah.
shameless plug you've done for yourself?
Yeah.
Shameless?
Ever.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yes, I definitely have no shame. Yeah.
You will soon.
If I don't agree with you, for instance, that there's systemic racism, if I don't agree with you that the police are targeting African Americans, I'm a racist. Like I can't disagree with you. Like I can't have a substantive disagreement with you and hold those ideas and go, no, I don't really believe that. Without you, the automatic knee-jerk reaction is, well, you're a white supremacist. I'm like, where the hell did that come from?
That breaks my heart because my mentor in the marketing realm, this guy really got me into marketing. I had no marketing background whatsoever. He just left my page. He left my page over my stance over this whole Nike BS. And I've been friends with him.
There's a good example.
And why? Because my feelings are different than his. I value everybody's opinions.
So the two crazy positions that I have on this is that on one side, I'm like, people are nuts in their level of vitriol and their immediate jump to you're a Nazi, or I mean, like, see, it's so some of those terms have gotten so overused and so misappropriately applied that they've lost their meaning. To call somebody a Nazi, I mean, like, if you think about what Nazism was, and actually what happened in history, and the very large group of people that were killed in mass, and you'll call somebody a Nazi over some random goofy little thing, you know? It's like,
Grammar Nazi.
Grammar Nazi.
I've been to Dachau in Germany, and let me tell you, if you go there,
we don't use that. Yeah,
I don't use that term ever.
So
I would never.
that's on one side, but then on the other side, for like what you just commented on one side, people are going nuts with the verbiage, and then on the other side, people get their feelings hurt over the slightest thing. And like you said, you have a different position intellectually. I can't handle it. You're blocked and censored, and I'm never going to talk to you again. I'm like, quit being a baby.
Thank you. Put your man pants on and grow
so I'm actually kind of saying both. I'm like, I think the bullying has gotten crazy, and I think how quickly we will get our feelings hurt and take our toys and go home, and not play in the sandbox anymore is also gotten ridiculous.
That's why I said we're more sensitive, because our forefathers, my mother, my father, my grandfather, my grandmother, would tell me if they were still here, put your man pants, put your woman pants on, and suck it up, buttercup.
My mom would say, put your big girl panties on.
Yes.
Stassi, you were going to say something earlier.
I think, when you're talking about the idea of the vitriol, I think as far as like people blocking freeways and things like that, they're having to go to higher levels of protest in order to get the attention
to be heard, to feel
for
heard.
that particular thing. Well, yes, there's people that are butthurt. Yes. There's no doubt about that. But
Mine's
there are also issues where their butthurt is justified. And if you feel like your entire race is being targeted by one authoritarian team, then that is, and if it's statistically proving to be true, which in many cases it is, that's a serious issue. So
I want to interject here just real quick,
not all.
Because
I feel like I'm afraid. This is not the topic.
This is what we see, and I feel like the media is creating this on purpose.
Yes,
so you look at the world now, and everything you hear and see is somebody being pitted at somebody else. One group being isolated, so everybody else gets mad at them. And so everybody's hurt because they're getting isolated out, and then everybody's mad at them because they're making it seem like these people are so much worse than they are.
Yes.
So do you think that is the media doing this to us, or do you think that, because I know I go talk to my buddies, we ain't very sensitive. I talk to y'all, none of y'all are sensitive.
No.
Nobody I surround myself with is very sensitive.
Oh no, I'm extremely sensitive.
I kind of get scared sometimes. I'm new to the studio.
I kind of feel offended that you don't think I'm sensitive.
Do I need to bring some big girl panties in for you, Joe?
That was good. Sheridan, you were going to say something.
Okay, so I love the group, and I've really enjoyed being a part of it. And I think as long as it's appropriate, or it's you're able to have that dialogue. But I think a premise of the group that I don't think is always met is the seek to understand and not being married to an idea.
Yes.
So
Preach,
I
girl.
I won't go into the police brutality and all of the unconscious systematic racism, but if you can share a peer-reviewed article, you can share research that covers data based on the whole country, and then you're given back an article that is very much left or right wing that cherry picks data, and then there's not that. And I think for some people like me, I get frustrated because I'm like, I sent you blanket data that shows all of this that is not politically angled, but it's not taken seriously.
Facebook.
And that's where I get frustrated. And I understand Facebook has those algorithms, and we do let that paint a picture of our opposer that maybe isn't always fair. But I think, people, that's a result of that ugliness and that you're a Nazi, you're this, comes from being told we're too sensitive to stand up for what we're believing in, and you get opposed to us because you're sick of being called a white supremacist or a Nazi. And I think that just continues to create this vicious cycle.
Yes.
But I don't want to be told
agree.
I'm sensitive because I stand for racial injustice and I wholeheartedly believe it should be corrected. Does that make me sensitive?
Yeah.
No.
I think that makes me illogical.
No, I didn't mean like yes.
And unaware.
I wasn't
very
saying yes.
aware. And so that's I
I was,
think
I was giving an assent.
Sensitive in this term is becoming
derogatory.
becoming derogatory,
Yes.
as opposed to are we sensitive to the
Compassionate,
issues?
are we
compassionate,
empathetic?
knowing what's going on.
exactly. I am compassionate, I am
Yeah.
empathetic, and I am aware. Does that make
Yeah.
me sensitive in a derogatory way? I don't believe
See,
it does.
No,
And I
I'm
don't like
compassionate,
feeling like that. That's
empathetic,
how
and
I'm
not
seen.
aware.
One-
I don't
one at a
wanna
time,
know.
one at a time.
I don't want to
Ignorance
know.
is bliss.
The camera's gonna pick it up as just
Sorry.
we're all mumbling together.
Well, honestly,
I can't hear y'all.
I don't think at all that it's sensitive in a derogatory term at all. When I say sensitive, it's like what that friend of mine did. Instead of embracing my opinion, because I always embraced everybody else's opinion, I am very open. That's the beauty about growing up in so many different cultures. You get to see the world from so many different perspectives.
Yes.
I was hurt. I
Yeah.
was genuinely hurt when he took himself off of my Facebook page because, again, he was my mentor. He was somebody who encouraged me to get out there and do freelance marketing and to find myself. So it was kind of a slap in the face.
Sure.
It's rather amazing to me how, and this is what I refer to as being married to an idea, how frequently
stance.
people wrap their identity into a single argument or a single position. And so if you disagree with their position, or I use the word attack not in a negative sense, but with the goal of seeing if I can break this argument down and if it has any weak spots or if it will fall apart under scrutiny. If I scrutinize your idea and your whole identity is wrapped up in that idea, now I'm scrutinizing you.
It's personal.
It's
Yeah.
personal.
Yeah, that's where we have to separate it. Is you're scrutinizing, you're attacking the actual idea and not the person, and people have a hard time separating that from
Yes.
themselves.
Especially when the idea touches you personally. I think that's where it gets tricky. If something you're talking about or an issue that you feel touches you or touches someone you love personally. And that's where I struggle. I have a hard time separating myself.
I want to blame this hard time separating it on text messaging and social media because you don't have this face-to-face. You don't have that empathetic voice when you
don't
say
have
something.
tone.
The tone isn't there, and you
Yes.
make your own tones up. And
It's all
then,
perception.
yeah, and so, which is something that I love to challenge perception because as a paramedic, I got to see so many different perceptions of the world. And you go into a ghetto, you go help somebody, versus you go into a wealthy neighborhood and you go help somebody. And you would think that what happens, it's actually opposite. Because going into the ghetto, they call me Doc. Going into the wealthy neighborhoods, they look down on me and they tell me, I don't know what I'm talking about. So it's the perception. It is silly, right? The perception is that. I'm sorry. Y'all go.
You're there
Perception.
to say
No,
there.
no,
you
you
got it.
Yes.
You got
And
it. You gotta roll
perception-
with
I
it.
know.
You know, like
Perception
you're there
is
to clean up
reality.
trash.
Yeah,
Right.
And you can have a
perception
different
is
reality
not-
than
There
I
it
have.
is.
Perception
Nobody-
is
nobody
One at a
reality.
time, one at a time, guys.
Nobody wants their perception challenged. They feel like their perception is the only perception, and that is because they're so isolated. All the communication they do is on this. Nobody calls each other anymore. You don't have to go find your friend on his bicycle, you know?
Yeah.
like even the kids they're
You can't stay out until late at night,
No.
and your mom whistles for you, and you come from
yeah,
there.
you
No.
know, the street lights
That's
isn't a
what we
thing
had
anymore,
growing
I
up.
guess. I don't know.
Be
It's
home by the
not.
time the street light
Yeah,
comes on.
yeah.
I miss that. I miss that.
Because you can call them and you tell them, I'm somewhere safe. Now they stay at their friend's house, or they don't. They go downstairs and play video games, and so
Yeah,
there's-
and
I
even
think-
then, you're texting them going, "Where are you?"
Well,
right?
that's what
Yeah, you
some
don't even
house-
yell at them anymore in the house.
You know, here's, go ahead.
Well, I would say that's. I mean, I have very conservative friends, right? And I would never call them white supremacists or Nazis. And I encounter people that oppose me very greatly on social media that I don't know. But the difference is to them I'm dehumanized. To me, they're dehumanized. I don't have a human to go with that voice.
Mhm.
So that
You're an IP
perception,
address.
yes. So that, and I think that's the hard part. I think social media has helped us in a lot of ways become more aware. I think kids are a lot more aware of social issues. I didn't know a whole lot about social issues when I was in high school. I mean, it just wasn't something. I was aware of it to an extent, but not. There was no Twitter, there was no Instagram, there was no Facebook. You know, I think now you have
AIM
all these
came out.
kids involved in having opinions in social issues, and you have opposing issues there. And I think, you know, there's just a lot of people on the other ends of the spectrum are dehumanized on social media. There's no person. I can respect somebody with a very opposing view, and I have many in my life that I do. I respect them wholly. David
Yes.
Pipkin. One did not like him really, really bad.
Oh man,
But you know what?
I did too though.
I know,
But then when
it's
you talk
hard,
to
and
him
then you're
in
like,
person,
God,
he's
dude,
like,
I like
"This
you.
is
You're making this
cool."
so
Like-
bad. But I've enjoyed my interaction with David. I really have. It's been very enjoyable.
I've enjoyed watching y'all.
We've been going at it pretty.
I'm gonna have to
hard
go
lately.
read some stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's been
But I do respect him, and he is human in my eyes. There is a human on the other end of that keyboard, and I think that's what we have to remember: is there are people that are touched by this in ways we are not, and we can't understand because we're not touched by it. And I think there has to be a level of respect and compassion for that.
There's something that we talk about on a regular basis on the show, a concept that we really are trying to teach through the show, and we're trying to teach through the page, and the rules and the way the rules of the page are set up are designed to teach. They're designed to bring people along and develop in their ability to interact with opposing viewpoints, and we're trying to create an environment where people can do that and know that they're not going to be attacked, that they can
Right.
throw something out and it will genuinely be argued against, but they're not going to be assaulted in the process, you know. And that's the environment we're trying to creating. But the principle of this is that when you think from a win-win mindset, that literally there's three options that we can have. You hold a view, I hold a view. I throw my view out, you attack it, and it falls apart. There's literally nothing left,
We're in
right?
yeah.
Win for me. That's the hardest one for people to wrap their head around. Why is it a win for me? Because I'm no longer holding on to a flawed idea.
Right.
I've had that freed from my brain, and I now have a stronger, better idea in its place. That's a win for me. Right?
Keeping a soft
I have-
stance is what I like to call it.
Yeah,
It's
you-
just-
you
my
always hold
stance
this-
is
yeah.
very fluid.
Be malleable, you
Mhm.
know, and the middle ground, I throw out an idea, you throw out an idea, pieces of your argument fall off, pieces of my argument fall off, and we're shifted and molded by each other's interaction. Again, win for me.
Mhm.
My argument is stronger now, it's better, right? I throw out an idea, you attack it, you hit it from all sides, nothing falls off, it's firm, it's tested. Again, win for me. My idea is now more resilient, it's
Do you
been
lose?
tried,
Do you
right?
ever
No, he
lose?
doesn't
No.
No.
So it's always
This is what
a
I'm
win.
learning.
It's always
So-
about Joe.
So it's winning, hashtag winning, always winning. That's a hard
I
concept.
kind of want to bring this
It's a
into
great
play.
concept,
So, like our children, like when we were kids, we didn't have access to all this social and all this current information,
Thank God.
Scary.
and we didn't have a platform to voice it on.
Mm-hmm.
Even if we did know about it, we couldn't say it to
couldn't throw it
anybody
out
but
there,
our
yeah.
parents and our friends. Now we see it. We get all our kids get to see it all over the internet, and then they see it on 300 channels, and then their parents are using it to parent, and like before you know it, you have all these kids hurt because now they see the world as it is. A rough place, right?
And in most cases, they see it worse than it is. I mean,
Right.
that's the reality.
And
Yes.
so is it now that we're more sensitive, or is it now that we're exposed to more younger?
I think it's exposed to more younger. And I say this because I kept my daughters, when I had custody of my daughters, I protected them as much as possible from social media because it's, you know, it's a scary thing out there.
Yes.
Like we had talked about, you know, these teenage girls, and we talked, teenage girls have always been hateful, always. They're
I mean,
mean girls.
Yeah.
So they stick cell phones underneath the toilets.
They're never
you
mean to
know,
me.
I mean, just they're horrible. They're horrible creatures. And I didn't want my daughters exposed to that. So what I did is I bought them a little flip phone
We call it
that
John phone.
they shared amongst each other because they were, you know, they walked like
T9.
quarter of a mile down the road to the middle school together. So they had that flip phone, but according to my ex-husband, that wasn't good enough. So when he got custody of them, they got Galaxy 8s each, both of them. And now they're all over social media, and it scares me
So
because they're exposed to so
You've been
much.
thinking for a second, Stassi.
yeah,
I really
well,
want to hear
because
what
I'm
you guys
relating my own personal experience to it. I have a 16-year-old who has been exposed to social media and political discourse since she was itty bitty. We never hid anything from
Make her
her.
stronger.
And she's in debate now, and like I said, she's one of the most empathetic, compassionate people I know, and she comes at it knowing that she's supported, but also we also used these as tools when we saw behavior that was deviant or behavior that was wrong in any way. Even when she was itty bitty, we would point it out and say, that's not how you want to behave. You don't want to do this because this is going to bring attention to you in a negative way. So we never, you know, I remember all my friends were always commenting on how well behaved she was, and how adult she sounded because we didn't hide anything from her and we didn't talk down to her, and we let her be a part of the discourse of everything that was going on, political, negative wise and positive. And so no, she wasn't able to like go around the block until, you know, the lights came on, but she has the backing that she needs to make good make good choices as far as
Feel
helping
confident.
her friends.
Yeah.
She's very confident. But even she, you know, because she's a teenager, she's dealing with hormones, she goes through periods where she's like, I don't understand why they act like this, why is the world like this?
Yeah.
You know, and she gets very upset and frustrated. But she'll also take a stance on something that she's heard on the news, and I have to step back and remind her, okay, that's one side of the news.
Yeah.
Go out now, if you really want us to keep a hold of this, go out and do the research, find out where the news got this information, see what else is out there
Yeah.
before you make up your final mind as to this is the way things went.
But you're teaching her to be logical.
Exactly,
And then
you're teaching
subjective,
her.
and that is what more people should do.
I
My
wanna
teach them to look at
ex-husband
both
doesn't. My
sides.
ex-husband doesn't do that. He does not do that. He turns them loose with these pieces of information and lets them go crazy and doesn't monitor, doesn't watch them, doesn't. And you know, there's no
That's because you never had to deal with it.
exactly, and he doesn't care. He's like
How
there
can you not care?
because that's him.
The X.
Yeah.
You can't change the cycle if you don't change the way you're
Exactly.
educating.
Well, we
Thank
can't, and I
you.
think the hard part for me, because my kids are much younger than yours, but for me, the social media, the tablets, the iPhones, I hate that. I feel like there's a lot of kids, and I work with kids, so I see the effect of that,
Yeah.
the motor skills, the fine motor skills.
Right, that's lost.
It's lost. And so I want to, there's that aspect for me, but I think at some point we do have to embrace that is the reality of the times. So the best thing we can do is teach them how to use it responsibly and give them the tools to make an educated opinion.
Right, and don't put your personal information out there. That's
No.
the biggest thing that we've had the
Yeah.
hardest time teaching her, is because she wants to take a specific stance on sexuality, and I'm like, don't put it out there. You need to wait. You need to wait until you're old enough to make a decision on this, and you're not there yet, because people are going to hold it against you, whichever way you decide.
People are judgmental.
They are
Very,
extremely. I'm like,
very.
just don't put it out there. They don't need to know yet.
Yeah.
Not until you're grown up. You don't need to put it out there.
So let me ask you this. We were talking about a completely not related subject, but I
Sorry.
think it is
Rather
very
sorry.
relevant. No, I wasn't saying you were. I was saying myself with somebody else. We were talking about a subject that was completely not related to this. But I think there's a connection. That they were talking about dating and how there's now with all the apps and everything, said that there's
I
an
hate
illusion. There's an illusion that the pond is so large, that there's very little effort made. Like people will cut and run
Yes.
in the dating process at the drop of a hat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because they have this perception that they're so just like, swipe left, swipe right. I'm gonna
Yes, it's
Right.
called
See, it's so
ghosting.
fast.
It's called
Right.
ghosting
Right.
and catfishing.
Yeah.
Right. So let me go where I was going to run with this. I think social media.
Dating sucks. It sucks.
I've touched the nerve here, people.
I hate dating.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
So
after your point, we are going to go to a commercial and
Yeah,
we're going to read
got
some,
some comments. Yeah.
and then we're going to let
Talk
these,
about some art and stuff.
these ladies talk about some art. Yes, I want to
So
hear
I kind of have a question on this. Is that do you think that if that's out there, and I mean like there was a kind of an immediate sense going on here, that a similar thing happens in that if this was my tribe, so to speak, in my community, I have a vested interest to work a little harder because it's just us five and whatever. But if I'm online and I've been capped at 5,000 friends for like 4 or 5 years, and I mean I literally call off the bottom 10 in activity every week.
Did 100
and I'm
last
adding
week.
I did 200 not too long ago,
Yeah.
and they filled them up in like 3 weeks.
I guess I better say hello though.
Yeah, right. Yeah, chime in every now and
Get
then.
rid of
Stay
me.
active
Chime
online,
in.
people.
But my point is that I don't even think twice about those bottom 10 who are not being active on my page. See you later, whatever, right? I think there may be a connection here also with like how we interact with each other and how we dialogue, and people may think a little less about being insulting or like it's not such a big deal if I lose one here,
I
lose
don't,
one
I
there.
don't have to watch
A
my
dime a
words
dozen.
because
Right.
if
I
you
don't
leave,
think
just
that way.
I don't care. Like,
No, but I do. I can see how some people would though.
I
You
know.
encounter somebody on the internet that to you doesn't represent your personal morality. Why is there the effort? Block, delete.
It's really
moving
easy
on
to
the next.
create little, echo
Yeah.
chambers of friends and groups and that sort of thing.
See, I'm always amazed when I finally meet the person that I've been friends with, even if we haven't had
Yeah.
much interaction
So
over the
different.
last couple of years. And it's like I've seen your work, I know what you do, but I've never met you. And then I finally get to meet you, and it's like,
I have tons of people that I've known for years online and have great rapport with and dialogue with,
Never
but I've
shook your
never met them in person.
yeah.
I've had people come up to me, hey, you're Chris.
Thank God we got that settled.
Yeah.
I'm
I've
gonna let you
been
say
wondering.
I'm gonna let you
Yes,
say
I
your
am.
piece real quick, and then we're gonna go to our commercial break, and we'll read some comments and talk about some art.
So being somebody who actively uses that swipe left, swipe right, I hate
No
it.
wonder she's
I-
dating.
I hate it
Getting
because
it
you text, you invest this amount of time texting back and forth. You finally get to that point where okay, here's my phone number, and then they ghost you. It's like, what the hell? We're supposed to meet, we're supposed to do this, and I find out your dog's name, this, that, blah, 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 and then they don't
If
show
they
up.
really have a dog.
Yeah, if they really have it all.
That's the other thing, yeah.
And it's so bothersome because you get caught up, you invest like the last one was like 4 weeks I invested, and then he's like just totally ghosted. I'm
Well,
like,
and
People are
then
flaky.
there's the whole thing about the photos too. There's I'm not
Right.
gonna say who it was, but somebody else is going through the similar situation, and no.
Oh, is this like this angle, right? Like,
Yes, exactly. Cat girl angle.
This
Always-
angle.
oh, the filters.
No, but they're
Oh.
always talking about how these people are always requesting more and more photos of them. And she's like, "What are they doing with these photos?" And I'm like, "Well, this is what happening. This is what's going on with these photos." And she's like,
I had a
like,
lady hunt me down
There you go.
on Facebook, and she let me know that she had been having this relationship with this person online, and they had taken all sorts of my photos.
Oh, that,
They were
were
acting like
catfish.
you?
You, oh my
And
gosh.
that they took all my photos of
Oh
me
my God.
personally, and they were
How
representing
wild.
themselves as
Oh.
me.
That's
And the really weird part of it all was, I'm like, oh my gosh, thank you. And she sent me the link to the profile and everything. I was like, wow, straight up. So I like reported it, and and all this stuff. But the weird part was she hung around
Ooh.
because
It was
She
an
thought it was
You wanted to
association.
see.
she
Yeah.
had this invested,
Yeah.
time
Intimate
and effort into this,
relationship.
with this person that was, totally fake, not real.
It's
Yeah, and I'm like,
hard.
so yeah, I'm married, and
fell in love with your face.
Yeah.
it was a little weird. It was a little weird. I felt for her. I felt really
Hey,
bad for her, but
Production
gosh.
crew, who's our sponsor today?
Dean.
Mr. Dean.
Dean DeBasey.
That's the home loan.
First choice home loan.
First choice home loans. I'm going to let him go to commercial. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about your comments. We're going to talk about some art, so stay tuned. And we'll see you in a second.
Hey everybody, Joe Orsak, host of the Whine No Whine Show. And I'm here with my special new guest, Dean DeBasey, brand new sponsor of the Whine No Whine Show. Can't wait till he gets to tell you all about himself.
Hello everyone, my name is Dean DeBasey and I'm with First Choice Loan Services. We close all of our loans on time. We have great rates and low fees, and we have push button get mortgage. All right, just kidding. Just kidding. In all seriousness, folks, we are a boutique mortgage lender, and we lend in 49 states. We choose not to play in the commoditized lending world, such as push button get mortgage. There is no such thing.
Hey everybody, this is Paul Compton with JLA Realty, Houston's fastest growing real estate team, and I'm very pleased to announce that I'll be opening a new office in Spring, Texas. One of the things that I depend upon with my business is being able to refer my clients to a lender that I can trust, because that can be the difference between them being able to buy the home of their dreams or not being able to buy a home at all. So, I've always referred my clients to Dean. He always takes care of them. If you're thinking about getting a home loan, do not go with one of the big guys where you're just going to be a number. Give Dean and his team a chance.
I am a certified mortgage planning specialist. Less than 1% of all your originators have that designation. So, if you are seeking a mortgage and would like to experience a true boutique mortgage experience, please call the number below or go to DeBaseyLoans.com. Let us show you why First Choice Loan Services is leading the mortgage lending industry.
Welcome back to the Art of Dispute. I love that name. It's the first time I got to say it online.
Saying it.
I know, it's hard. It's not the Whine No Whine Show Artist Edition. I'm sorry. It's Art of Dispute. Welcome back. I'm going to go to a comment real quick. I know Virgil has something to say here, and my production is going to send me at least one more comment right there at production, Ashley.
Hi, Virgil.
Virgil, thank you for tuning in, man. You're always a true fan there. It says people have become hypersensitive, but the news media and access to live internet feeds play a huge part in fueling the fire. People see and read about goings on and tend to overreact and take the bait from the media.
Yes, they do.
It's a fair point.
And this is what the show is. This is the we versus them, the us versus them, and the we mentality. What we do is we come together over music and art. No music today, but and we talk about these subjects knowing that we have a commonality, and that's what's the difference is. Where if you go to any other channel, in any other instance, you're going to see people pitted without a common goal, without anything to want to bring them together, without knowing that they even are human, like IP addresses and stuff. So I completely agree with you, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on this.
I agree. I think, but at some point, how long are we going to blame the media? That's what they do. So I think we have to be the bigger brain and say, I'm going to read the article from Fox, and I'm going to read the left article, and I'm going to come to my own conclusion.
Fact check.
Yes,
MediaBiasFactCheck.com.
and it's like
They need to sponsor our show.
Yeah, we've said it too many
Okay.
times.
We mentioned them a lot, but
St. Arnold's.
Yeah, right. St. Arnold's.
Yeah.
We need to work on them as a sponsor.
I can see you from
Franzia.
outside. Across the street.
Franzia, where are you? Where are you?
What's the
We
wine?
need to step up.
The
Media Bias
the
Fact
barefoot?
Check. Yeah, barefoot.
Yes.
Yeah, come on.
We'll throw them all out there.
Yeah, give us some
all
money.
the alcohol.
Yeti.
Yeah, but MediaBiasFactCheck.com is a site that I use and recommend with intensity. They have full-time, unlike nothing, I'm not slamming anybody here. Snopes is a two-man operation or two-person operation. MediaBiasFactCheck.com has 3 full-time researchers, 2 writers, executive staff, and they've got a whole team of folks on board, and their whole process is to just They're not researching articles to tell you if it's true or not. All they're doing is rating the bias to tell you where on the bias spectrum the organization is, and then most importantly their accuracy rating. And whether they have a very high accuracy, and then they will define those for you and tell you what the differences are.
And I think
so
even
that's very important.
I think so
Just
too.
to interrupt, I'm gonna need you to moderate our feed.
Right now.
What's happening? What's
Joden and Pipkin are at it.
What is new?
Gentlemen,
What
I
is
know.
new?
I love them both. Joden has better hair.
I'm trying to find a good
But-
comment, but
He
you
has
guys.
such
guys-
lovely hair.
I've seen it.
It's even. It's, I mean, David's
That's,
got a beard, but I like Joden's hair.
See, I'm the
Aquaman.
stalker on there. I just
Yeah.
read everything. I don't respond to anything.
Many
I'm
people
just
are.
watching everybody.
Everybody likes to read our comments because they
And
get to
comment.
see all the
Well, and they
points
still
of view.
get something out of it.
And that is
No, I
the,
do.
that's the point almost. That's something that I try to convey to folks is why these insults and all this sort of thing are so destructive. It's like I may never change your mind. I might be debating intensely with you, but as soon as I go to you're a libtard, Nazi, whatever, right? The person who's reading along, who was just gathering information and doesn't really have a position or whatever, just tunes out. They're
Yeah.
like, oh, whatever. Just now it's more Facebook drama,
Yeah.
and off they go. But when it remains actually like good information, I've seen so many people comment about that.
Deborah
To-
Wilson says exactly that. Name calling shuts down conversation.
There
Well,
you go.
here-
There you
here-
go.
here
Well,
was-
it makes people
And
defensive.
people get
and
defensive.
guarded,
Yeah.
and-
Exactly. That's exactly what she
Well,
said. That's funny. You just finished your sentence.
Well,
already.
What
It
can I
goes.
say?
It goes back to marketing.
Thank you for tuning in, Deborah.
Yeah.
Marketing, and that's where I love
Yes.
marketing. Sometimes
I don't see
they
it.
think Americans are sheeps, that we're going to follow along blindly. We're not going to pay attention to the statistics. We're not going to pay attention to the facts. We're not going to, do the research.
But our narrative
we
is more
all-
important than
we
our
all
seeking
are
of
so
truth.
smart. We are so smart, and sometimes it's kind of insulting.
Yeah.
When you see companies throw things out there and expect us to buy into it. No, I'm
There's a whole
sorry.
industry
I'm
on
not.
that. Tabloids.
But the problem
I'm
too
not
thing
going
forever.
to.
is do they really buy into it, or is it convenient because it suits the narrative? They don't want challenge.
Confirmation bias.
They don't want
Yes.
challenge.
So
Exactly.
So you mentioned, looking at bias of news sources. I think that's fantastic. I personally read the most biased ones I can, because then that gives me a little insight into people that call me a libtard, call me a snowflake, because I know what they've read, and I have a little bit of an idea of why they are outraged. As false and as propaganda is if it reads, it bleeds, right? So people read that, and they read the most far left or the most far right. And so if I read what they've read to make them form that opinion of me personally when they don't know me, I can have a little bit more of an armor or an education on what they're thinking. Because in any other way, I wouldn't understand. It wouldn't make sense to me. But if I read the article that is so biased that made them outraged, I feel like I have better tools to give and offer a different perception that isn't going to ignite name calling. I try anyway. Name
That's why I
calling,
say, that's,
Hey,
that's
shut
why I
up.
say know thy
it, Chris.
enemy
I'm a
as
moderator.
I
well
was
as
gonna
you
say
know
something mean, but I
thyself.
couldn't even bring myself to do it.
I know, right? I want to make it hard for people to be mean to me. That's my goal, everyone. It's working with David so far. So
She's got
That's
you,
what
dude.
Gotcha.
Again, know thy enemy as you know
Let's,
thyself.
yes, exactly.
I want to give you guys some time to talk about your art.
Oh,
It's,
yeah, let's do that.
We're getting closer to the end here, so if Stassi, or if you want to talk about your marketing,
Go ahead,
it's up to you.
Stassi. I'm intrigued with your art. I love it.
Love
There
it.
is a beautiful art.
Okay.
Is that your handle?
Yeah, this is actually a collaboration I did with Bella Coenza when we were in junior block at doing our BFAs at
Gozinsa?
Yeah, you're
Coincidence?
speaking
Coincidence.
gibberish.
Sorry,
What?
sorry.
Junior block
Sorry.
and a what now?
Okay, so when you go into a painting program, they have blocks,
Is
and
that like
so
a semester?
nah, it's not. Yes, it is a semester, but it's like 3 classes in one, just in painting.
Okay.
It's the same thing with grad school. You have a block of,
I think
it's
my
like
whole
12
paramedic
hours.
was one block. It was
Right, yeah. So
5
it's like
days a
12
week,
or 15 hours
8-hour
that's
days.
devoted to that particular thing. So we were in junior block together, and this was a
Nursing
collaboration we did
school.
together. Although, actually, I think it was senior block, but it doesn't matter. It was done, it's a collaboration piece. I did the mouth and the background, and she did all the stuff coming out of the mouth, which is funny because her work has evolved a lot. It's not even like
Yeah?
this anymore. Yeah, it's pretty
Cool.
cool. But I'm a surrealist painter, so the majority of the paintings that I produce are based on dreams that I actually have. And so there's a painting that I think you guys have got that you'll probably see come up.
And we'll post it into the event feed, so if you're not interested in the event.
Just so you understand what it's about. Most people will have kind of come to it with an understanding, but I had a heart attack a couple of years ago at 35, and then at 37, we got pregnant. Surprise!
She's looking at the
Doing
husband over
there. Disney.
It's your fault.
And actually, I say that a lot. I'm like, this is your fault. You know that's right. So my first OB-GYN told me that she didn't think that I would survive the pregnancy, and I was like, okay, well, you're fired.
Right.
That's easy. So I went to a specialist, and they told me that I had a 13% chance of anything happening. Which, of course, is always fun because anytime you hear statistics...
Don't you have a 100% chance of anything happening?
Well, but if anything...
You never say 100%.
So here's the thing.
I'm pretty sure anything is going to happen.
You ever heard that
one thing or
statistician
another.
song? The statistician song, 69.8% of statistics made up on the spot. Basically, it's just silly.
Like
so anyway,
that.
she was like, "I'm not going to let you die. You're not going to die. You're going to get to see your baby. You don't have to get your affairs in order." That kind of thing. Because it was pretty morbid being told that, and being 4 months pregnant and being told that you're not going to make it, which is really crazy. But anyway, the painting is about the dream I had the night before the baby was born. So it has my husband's hand is supporting both the baby and my heart, which is coming out of my body.
I'm looking at it right
It's
now.
so cool. I'm looking at it too.
What is the size?
It's gigantic.
8 by 10?
88 inches by 81 inches, and it took me 18 months to complete. So the baby is almost
beautiful.
2 years old.
And I just want to take pictures
And
of it.
so the baby is in the middle. She's resting on my soul, which is teal. That's why that color is like that. My soul is teal, which goes back kind of in a weird way to my family because my grandmother's last name is Teal. Anyway, so everything relates. Everything, and that's really the weird thing about the more I create paintings and the more I create art, I find that there are more things that connect back to my heritage and back to things that I grew up with, which is just weird for me. Because when I first started creating art, everything seemed very arbitrary or ancillary away from me.
It's funny. That's where I'm at.
And now it's coming. Honestly. And I think a lot of artists go through that where they're just trying to produce something at that point.
Trying to find a voice.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
And then eventually you find your voice and you start to see how everything starts to connect back to...
As we're talking about this, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm inspired.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking earlier, she was talking about libtards and snowflakes, and I'm going, I'm going to create a libtard with a snowflake. I have to do it now. Exactly. Like, I have to do it. And so every time you guys talk about it, we'll just
a crown of snowflakes. That would be awesome.
But with a person wearing a libtard, like an actual leotard that says lib on it. Yeah, because I'm
I love
crazy like that.
They must have the
That's how
crown
my
of
brain
snow.
works.
I need my brain to work.
You should do
We'll
like.
put him in it.
You should.
Yeah.
Next portrait, we got it.
You should do the libtard down the leg, like
Adidas
or something,
Or on the ass.
Right.
Juicy.
Right.
Looking
over the shoulder.
At the bottom.
Looking over the shoulder, wearing a crown of snowflakes.
You got it. I'm totally
I
doing
would
this now.
love to see that.
See, now we're gonna have to do this.
No, you
It
gotta
has to
have my
happen.
card at the bottom.
It's gonna have to happen.
It has
With
to
a
happen.
hand.
Yes.
I want to put it in my powder room,
Yes.
like above the toilet.
Okay, so in a month when I come back, I'll have the painting of the libtard.
But you gotta have my card
Yes.
with a hand.
the card with the the marketing.
The
card. It's
marketing.
gotta be in there.
Gotta throw that in.
So anyway, take
That's
a look
awesome.
at the painting when you get a chance. It's got my older daughter. She's hugging my heart. That's my 16-year-old and my baby and me.
I've been
and my
staring at
husband's
that
hand.
thing for a week by
Yeah.
myself in here setting this setup.
And
never had any idea
yes,
what it
that's
was
my
about.
oldest.
I love
That's
it.
my oldest daughter.
And I love her.
That is
You
so
walk in the studio, she's
beautiful.
like, "Welcome to the studio of
She
Stassi
is.
Smith."
She
She
is.
has a show this day and this day. Her
Oh,
work
I've
is
heard
this
it. How
and this.
cool is
I know, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I just love you. I need one like
Yeah,
you.
Lalu is amazing.
She's
She
awesome.
is. She's my little.
Little
My little
March.
debate. She talks to people.
I
That's
want
what she
one of
wants to do for a living is just talk to people and
Very
stuff.
comfortable. I love
So
it.
as soon as you half the time I can't even listen because I'm laughing so hard because I'm hearing her going. And this is made by my fabulous mother. And I'm like, oh my god.
No, I love it.
my
Every time I
Lord.
walk in, I'm like, I just wish I had that confidence. At
Yeah,
that age.
she
That's
just.
amazing.
I mean, she will. She'll explain it, and she was doing it for Mick when Mick was doing it. She's like, and Mick believes that these things go like
teens
this.
are amazing. teens can be amazing.
They're
Amazing
funny.
kids.
And you have
Mine's
a show
just running
coming
all the
up?
cameras.
Yeah, there you go.
You have a show coming up, right?
I do. We have a mixtape show coming up in November. That's a bunch of.
Third.
Yeah, November
3rd.
2nd and 3rd. It's going to be Friday and Saturday night here at in our gallery over here at Hardy and Ann Studios.
Like the room
And
over.
it's going to be brand new work that nobody's ever seen, and it's a bunch of artists that.
I'm so excited for this.
It was actually an
I've already
invitational.
posted in the event. It's like a month or two
Yeah.
out. I'm like, oh, I can't wait.
So we're gonna. What we've decided for this particular show, Narissa Gomez and I are the ones that are putting it together, and she's over at the Museum of Fine Arts Houston. She's one of the event coordinator, or she is the event coordinator actually. She's an amazing artist. So if you ever get to see her work, check out Narissa Gomez. She and I are putting it together, and what's going to happen is mixtape 1 is based off of people we invited who we felt like didn't get enough exposure with their work. And then what's going to happen for mixtape number 2, which will be in a year, is each of these artists will get to invite another artist and recommend them for the platform, and they will get the
And
show.
you're gonna continue
And then
this.
we're going to continue to do this
Oh my
every year annually. So that
What a
we're bringing
wonderful
up
idea.
people that have good bodies of work, but we just feel like they're not getting shown enough, or they haven't been picked up yet by a major gallery, or they're just underrepresented in some way, because there are a lot of really talented artists here in the Houston
You
area
hear
that
that?
just don't.
Get to work.
Yeah, get your going. Submit it to us for sure. But yeah, it'll be an invite only. So
She's got some classes.
get to know somebody that's an artist now that's in there, and schmooze them or something like that.
I'm already on it.
Yeah,
I was like, I can't schmooze
kind of
you,
that little
you schmooze
nepotism
them.
going there.
She's back there somewhere.
yeah,
I was giving her eyes.
She's
That's
over
it.
there.
Moozapalooza.
She's
She's got all excited
dancing.
about
Check
it.
her out. She's
Yeah.
dancing.
We're gonna do this. We've got some sponsors that are coming in for it, but I don't know who they are yet, and everything's just kind of working together right now. We do have 2 Facebook pages up, one for Friday night, one for Saturday night. We kind of figure Friday is going to be more like family and local friends, and then Saturday night is going to be like the party. So just check them out.
Choose
We'll
your
go from there.
poison wisely.
Right, exactly. Do you want to come talk to my dad, or do you want to come hang out with my mom? No, I'm just kidding.
That's
Mom's a
funny.
party
It's the
girl.
same thing at my family.
Mom's amazing. I love my mom.
Oh.
So yeah, there's that, and then I don't know if I can plug this real quick.
Oh,
Plug
please.
it.
I
This
think we're gonna go
is,
there
I'm going to go
too.
see this after the show. This is Vincent Finks. He's going to be over at Bison.
Right, I can tell you that they can't see it.
I can
No.
never say it. So anyway, but you should definitely check it out.
Wonderful artwork.
He is an amazing surrealist painter who also works with sacred geometry and animals.
wow.
And Vincent is amazing. So if you've got a chance to go check out his
been-
work, you should definitely.
I've been
go.
reaching
Huge
out to him
supporter.
for like 2 weeks trying to get
Yeah.
him out here.
We'll try and get him out here.
Oh yeah, for sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's it.
Thank you for coming out. I appreciate
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Thank you for
giving us the space.
playing in here with us.
Yeah. Sheridan.
Sheridan, hi.
Thank you.
So I mentioned earlier I do a lot of different mediums.
You both have little cards.
I know we made
I
little
know.
cards.
It's a great card.
I know.
It's such a-
They're
I
all
just-
I would
prepared. They've
forget.
got notes.
I would forget.
I don't.
I think they're the first people on our show to do that, which
So-
is amazing.
Because we mostly
I had somebody bring a notebook like for the debate part of it. They were
Oh.
They
like
had their
took,
notes. They were
took
ready.
notes and
Really?
they took notes during the show and
That
like
makes sense.
That's, yeah.
like
you don't lose track.
earlier in the
I can
show
respect that.
you said
Oh,
like
Excuse
That would be
me.
Yeah.
my kid
Can
right
you
there.
can you read this back to me?
Yeah. I'm like, you're far too prepared for this conversation.
Bring
So I
some more
left the
wine.
I left the nerd at home.
Yes.
I left the
I'm
nerd
sorry,
at
I
home.
cut
That's
you off. Go
okay.
ahead.
It's okay. I'm gonna blame Joe. So, the work, like I said, my work tends to be lots of different mediums. I do a lot of commission work. I went with the name My Anatomical Heart because I really enjoy anatomy and science, so I tend to incorporate a lot of that into my work, but it's certainly not exclusive. I do a lot of abstract work, and again, I do pet portraits in charcoal and graphite, and I've done painted portraits. I'm a horseback riding instructor outside of the art world, so I do a lot of horses too, a lot of dogs.
This is Texas after all.
Yeah, it is.
I know a
and
lot of you want
people
horses.
love those portraits, man. So I'm happy to do them. I do the resin geodes as well because everybody loves those. And
A resin
then
geode?
Oh yeah.
Will you explain that to me?
The geodes. You know, you've seen them.
Yeah.
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 I've never submitted like that, but I do. I can do the with the
They're
crystals
beautiful.
and the people love that. They
So it's
love
like a
it.
rock, a geode?
Yeah, like
okay.
that.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm
I do
thinking like
those.
geometry, and I'm not thinking rock here.
I
Rock.
usually just do them on commission. I don't just make them,
Wow.
but I do commission them. I used to work with a lot of epoxy, so that's been something
Do you
that's been a
wear
lot of fun. I sure do. A respirator.
Good.
Mhm.
Girl.
We've talked
Good
about my
girl.
safety.
I've already gotten in
Um,
trouble for my
which
resin
is-
work.
First,
Safety
first.
first. And I still work
And
with
then teamwork.
epoxy and don't wear a respirator, and they sand it without a
You sand yours?
Yeah, you have to.
Why?
So
Well, I'm sorry. We'll talk about
you're
that.
gonna have to come
Yeah.
to my garage
You
sometime.
should come to the pigment class. We talk about safety.
Yeah.
I
yes,
need to do
yes. I can't
So yes, I'll go ahead and
I'm
do
all
my
about that
soapbox.
pygmy class.
She's like,
Pigment.
the only musician in the room. Finally, he's outnumbered.
So I will
Safety
safety
I showed up to
guide.
this pygmy class and they were just doing stuff with paint. It was weird.
I know, Joe.
It's short man syndrome.
Oh, wow.
I think we just broke a rule.
It's okay.
Wow.
Does
When we
his
break a
fact-
rule,
does
do
the
we
fact
take a
that
shot?
somebody
Is that
used
how that
him-
works?
Somebody used him to catfish, so I feel like that's gotta
Right.
balance that out.
Yeah.
Somebody used you to catfish someone else, so it balances it out.
Okay.
Okay, so back to the safety of working with resin, Chris. You're a safety guy.
I identify as a tall
Okay,
person.
I have
listen.
several masks. that all
Epoxy affects the lungs much like silica does. So people who sand it without a mask.
I don't sand it though, so I'm good, right?
Oh yeah, you're good. But if you ever sand it, and I sand mine a lot, that's extremely dangerous.
I had no idea you could even sand that.
Oh yeah, between layers it helps. Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
Again,
Yeah,
and
we'll talk about that later.
yeah, we'll
If
do
you
that.
wanna learn about
If you want to
that,
learn about
greatest
that,
movie
contact me.
ever.
I love
And
that.
I do a lot of like galaxy type work with lots of layers of epoxy. A lot of my work has a lot of depth.
Her Facebook page is posted inside the event right now.
come see
Everybody's
it.
is, and so make sure you go
And-
check her work out.
Yes, and my Instagram, I post everything I'm working on and all of the events I have coming up. So some of the events I have coming up, and Chris will be there,
I'm
and you
excited.
can come see
It's
Stassi
here! Yeah.
and all of her amazing work in the
And
studio.
our set.
And our set
Uh-huh.
is at Hardy and Nance Studios.
Oh, yes. They probably won't see that.
Number 17.
Number 17, come
Yeah.
see Stassi.
Yeah, you're not gonna see that.
And well,
It's posted in
it
the
makes
event.
me feel
Yeah,
bad.
you'll see it.
It's posted in the event, posted on the top of the live feed. Hardy
Yes,
Hands.
and in the main gallery, Chris and I will have work at the Abstract Show, which was curated by Daniel Elliott.
Yes.
So
oh my
and
goodness, it's gonna be
Dee
such a
Franklin
good
also has
curation
work
of-
in that show. So we're gonna all be
Dee,
here.
another moderator on the show.
Yes, indeed. Dee's gonna come out.
So
Right.
we'll all be here,
There's
and
another
you can
one,
see
too.
Saucy's
Couple
work,
other
which will be
ones.
awesome. I don't remember.
Ricky's coming out.
There
Ricky
you go.
Whitman.
So I was super nervous about submitting to that. So I'm really excited that we get to come and
How
have
many
our
is
work
there?
here.
Total artists.
How many of the
60.
total? How many total
60
artists?
pieces. I don't
There's
know.
60 pieces. I want to say there's at least 40 of us,
I
right?
know. I want to say that there were close to 100 pieces submitted, but I don't
Right,
know.
I read
I know it was like
200.
130
Yeah.
submitted, but I think there was 60 to 80
Probably
taken.
around 80.
Yeah, and so and
I would say probably
I wanna
around
say
60
the-
The
artists.
studio's page said 200 pieces were submitted,
Oh,
and
yes.
8 or 60 to 80 were accepted. I think there was a big response. So go team.
I know I got
Super
one in. I'm so
responses.
excited.
Yeah.
I submitted
And
for
I
it, so the competition was
Nightmare's
rough.
coming up,
Love
so
my
get
shows.
ready for Nightmare Show.
I already
So,
got work for that.
I will be here on the 15th for the Abstract Show, and then I have some other stuff coming up that I'm really excited about. I will have
You're gonna
art
free book with us. Go ahead.
at Art on the Avenue, which is Houston's biggest charity auction at Winter Street. There's a preview party on November 1st, and then the auction is November 3rd.
You send me that.
Yeah, absolutely. And they work really hard to improve quality life in diverse economic communities, which I think is really awesome. It's Avenue CDC is the organization behind that. I'll also have a plate at the Christina Project, which goes to the plates are auctioned off.
Like 3 events I
And
hadn't
they
even heard of.
all incorporate the color
Oh,
teal.
amazing.
It's awesome,
Oh,
and
teal, she loves
100% of those proceeds go to actual patients with ovarian cancer, not an organization, not a charity, but actual people dealing with ovarian cancer. So I'm really excited to be a part of that. And that is in November as well. And I have all of that information
I love
on
the fall.
my Facebook page. And I'll also be out at San Jacinto Art Market for Art Beast in the Far East on
Busy girl.
October. I'm so busy, Chris. On October 6th.
I love it. I
And
love
that
it.
one is actually headed up by Thaddeus with Creatively Insane, who I love. And
Another name I do.
a huge
Lord.
organization of artists,
I
and
gotta
I
get
won't
back on
have
this
to
thing.
apparently email Chris so he can get him.
Yeah, no, I've been working on this show for a month.
There's a
Like,
group.
yeah.
Colin is in charge of Beatnik Syndicate, and
Okay.
so he has a network of artists, and then they kind of reach out, and if you want to do gallery stuff, that's fine. If you want to do vending events, that's fine. But I love the art community in Houston.
Oh
They've
my
been
gosh,
so
I fell in
supportive.
love with it, obviously.
And a lot of the stuff I came across because another artist either sent my work to Art on the Avenue. I had no idea, and that was amazing. And then the Christina Project I saw just from I think it was Dandy Warhol.
Dandy put it up. Yeah.
Dandy did.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dandy.
So,
Warhol.
and I
follow him
submitted, and
now.
I'm excited to do the
Dandy
plate.
one day.
He's super
Oh,
nice.
Dandy's
He's
awesome.
super nice.
Cool.
So that was something I saw in his newsfeed, and then I went ahead and submitted, and I'm doing a plate. So, and I think Annette is doing one of the pieces they're actually auctioning off. Yeah.
Oh, I haven't met
Is
Nat
this
yet either.
the deadline for that already passed?
I don't know. I
need to find out,
think
'cause I
so,
wanted
but
to do
I
that.
We're all there.
I think it did. But you could probably send him a message. I think she had extra plates. I don't know.
We're gonna let our next
But it
person
was such a
do a plug.
cool organization. Are you ready?
I'm
Sorry.
ready.
I'm sorry.
fine.
We're all talking about
You're fine.
give us information.
okay.
We all love
It's
it.
okay. You two are definitely
She wants to market all of us.
hard. Yes, absolutely. You
Hard
two are
working.
a
We have to be.
hard case to
Trying.
follow. So, basically, my background is healthcare. I'm a nurse by trade. But
paramedic.
people come to
Love
me. Yes, people come to me. And in the nursing realm, they come to me already with a marketing plan, already with a business plan. They know where they're going to be 5 years from now. But in the art and the music industry, a lot of the people, they're fly by night. They have no idea, and they've got this beautiful, like
Big left brain.
what you're talking about. They have this
what I
beautiful
have Joe
vision, but
for.
they don't know how to go from A to Z. So that's where I come in. I take a look at what's your business plan. Where do you see yourself 5 years from now? Where do you see your business 5 years from now? What is your activity in the social media realm?
Yeah.
And how can I connect you with CEOs, nonprofits, people like that may be starting out? Because I'm very active in the veteran community, and I know people that are starting nonprofits that maybe need that extra edge. They need an edgy artist to come in and design something for them.
Yeah.
So I can partner you guys and
I like how she's
let
not
you
talking to you.
talk.
She's talking to us.
Yeah, let you talk.
No,
Yeah.
So,
And
your
basically,
card is
yeah.
on the table here somewhere. I think there's only one of them. I'm gonna grab it real quick.
Yeah,
I'm just
yeah, let you talk, and basically,
We have to take mine and give it to Dina.
yeah, basically, so
That's
you
yours.
communicate
That's mine.
with each other. So, and also when she mentioned the geos, so
Yeah,
I
the geos are
have
cool.
something that I need to get with you about. I have some Arkansas crystals that I've mined myself from Arkansas, me and my daughters, and I would love to just turn them over because I'm not so artsy. I appreciate art at a few, and I'm also one of those people. I have a photographic memory, so I remember and I can match up colors. That's as far as my art goes. So I can just let
As
you
far as mine
do
Send
your
you some
thing.
pictures.
Yeah,
We're working on
yeah.
it.
Just having
Working on
fun.
it.
Yeah. But seriously, I love connecting people. I love getting people out there
That's what I like to
and
do, too.
you know making that connection. And if I know somebody that can benefit, a CEO who can benefit from an edgy artist, I will connect you guys and let you do your thing. So that's where I come in.
I know this really, really great, amazing show that needs an introduction to a CEO.
It might be on right now. I'm not sure. We might be missing it. Is it
I might
on?
be missing it. I think it might be on right now.
Not to toot the horn, but so I do these hikes. It's called Irreverent Warriors. I do these hikes, and it's to promote the awareness
you
of
sent me that
22.
video,
Yes,
yeah,
the
that
22
outline.
vets that do kill themselves a day. So what we do is we get together, we talk, we work it out, we walk. We do 13.5 miles. And right now I'm on hike number 4. I'll be doing a total 13.5 miles.
Can I ride a bicycle?
No.
No.
And I'll be doing a total. I'll be doing a total of 8 this year.
Oh,
this
wow.
year alone.
I have to connect
Yes.
you with
8?
a friend of mine.
What's his name? I know you're talking about. I'm supposed to work with him too. The
Uh,
veteran guy.
Well, there's two people. You're thinking of Tim.
I think I am.
But I when she said the 22 stat, one, I have a friend that he's talking about, Tim Stroud, that we do a lot of work together in the insurance world. But he's a veteran and massively involved in the veteran community. And he's a great guy to know just to connect with for contacts in the veteran world. But I also have a friend of mine who's been on the show, and his name is Spencer Paulward, and he has an organization called I Am 23.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
what a great
Wow.
goodness.
That's
What
giving
a-
me chills.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
giving me chills.
My
great
heart
thing.
sank to my stomach
Yeah.
for a second.
Yes.
And it's a charity organization. It's all volunteer, all staffed by veterans, and they've got a lot of big connections going on and big
That's
stuff
amazing
happening.
work.
great
Yes.
name, great organization.
I
I am
think she just
23.
wrote that name down over there.
Yes.
Yeah, I am 23.
And there's photographers,
I gotta get a pen and
there's
pencil.
musicians
I'm
that
all- I'm
are
like,
in that
Where's
community.
my pencil?
They just need to bridge
Ever
over.
again.
They
Yeah.
just need to connect. And I feel by bringing them together, bringing the artist
I know some
community of
veterans that could
Houston,
use some help. actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
and by bringing the artist community of Houston and the veteran community of Houston together, wow, they're both very powerful, very positive communities.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Sure.
Well,
I felt
I
like
love
that.
connecting people, and that's anytime we can do that. And that's part
You
of
have a
what,
whole book about that, right?
Yeah, I do.
Do you?
Top
Do
5
you?
bestseller on Amazon.
Oh.
True story.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did my research.
Thank you for the shameless plug.
Yeah. Your plug, I was ashamed of.
Yeah. But hey, this show is my art. That's
It's becoming mine.
There you go.
Everything's my art.
so we're just trying to save the world over here, or save America.
We'll go to the
we'll
world
get to the
after
world
that.
later.
Save us first.
Yeah. Just
When
like a
we
damn
three are
American.
empress of the world.
Just like Americans.
So if you know any wealthy CEOs that just want to throw money at us, let me know.
Any of
I have
us.
a,
Yeah.
I have a big
Any
glove.
of us, yeah.
I'll
I have a
take money.
huge glove. I'll catch it.
Need a cardiologist that wants to buy all my heart work,
Yeah.
That's the
Actually,
I have lots of them.
I do know radiologists.
I'll do a quick plug
So-
Cardiologist?
just to wrap it up.
Cardiologist, yes.
Yeah. Take it home.
I'm gonna do a quick plug. We are actually looking for sponsors.
We are.
It is a very reasonable price, and as we said earlier, we will be on television soon, reaching up to 60,000.
Yep.
So
Daily.
daily, and if you want to know the number on the sponsorship, like it's silly low. So
Yeah.
get to us, and we will get to you, and we'll have some fun in the future for sure.
And I will say that we have sponsors on the show right now, and their commercials run, so you guys see that. So share this with your friends if you're not in a position that to sponsor the show. But all of the sponsors on the show are all people that they obviously want
They
to get
wanna save
business.
America.
Yeah, exactly. I was like,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, they want to get business, and they're business owners and that sort of thing. But literally all the sponsors we have are people who first just were on board with the mission and love the concept of
If
the
you're
show.
not on our mission, we don't want you to sponsor.
Yeah, exactly. If you're not on board with the mission,
Oh,
we
I
don't
better
want you
get
to
out of
sponsor.
Take
here.
your hat off.
She's like, okay,
So-
Too late, you're
uh,
I'm on the
your
wine
lease has
mission.
been revoked.
Hey, and you know what?
I am. I'm totally behind your mission 100%.
It's. I will also toss out that you can be a sponsor of the show, even on a small level, because you can go to patreon.com/wine no wine, and that's like give me a glass of wine and stop whining. So wine no wine, and you can sponsor the page for as little as $5 a month. $5 a month. I mean, that's kind of ridiculously cheap.
If you put in $5 a month, I will put your info in our events. No problem.
Yep. And look at the different packages for like $20 a month. We're giving you a shout out every now and then on the show, and that kind of stuff.
Oh, speaking of which, I'll shout out a guy who's gonna pass out our flyers and his posters. Chris Morphus.
Oh, okay.
Christopher
on.
Morphus is going to be putting our flyers and all his posters going out, all his prints. He's been sending out about 3 a day. So
Cool.
yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, something
Very
simple
cool.
as that, guys. Love to cross promote. Love it. Love to work with other people. Is what I like to do.
So we'll be back next week.
Yeah, we will. You'll be here. Like what? You'll be in Grain Cellar.
The Grain Cellar in Humboldt. Yes, our location sponsor for the Wine to Wine show, original edition. Now it's just the Wine to Wine show because
It's not original anymore.
it's no longer original.
Now it's super original.
It's back to being the only
only.
the Wine to Wine show. Yeah.
But he's actually going to be one of ours too, so he'll be supplying
Yep.
some booze for us here in
Yeah, in fact, today we need to give him a shout out because
Yeah.
he brought the Franzia that I'm drinking at least. So.
Nice.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you need any brewing or any
Yeah.
fermentation of any kind, you need to go to the Grain Cellar.
It's a
And
really cool deal. If you're interested in
I want to brew
making-
beer, but who has the time when you're running web shows?
if you're interested in learning how to brew your own beer, or if you're interested in learning how to make your own wine, the Grain Cellar out there in Humboldt, yeah.
All right, we're going to close this up. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be back next Saturday, 2 o'clock from Hardy and Nance.
And Friday
Art by
at
Stassi.
6.
And Friday at 6 from the Grain Cellar. Love your comments. And thank you for tuning in.
We're out.
Thanks for tuning in.